Hi, babe. Welcome to the Horror Babe Show. I'm your host, Chelsea Beller. Now, we're doing things a little bit differently today. I know you're used to me doing some kind of horror movie review or rating the kills or interviewing filmmakers, but today, because I am currently producing my own horror short, I thought, I'm certain there are people watching this right now going, I'm producing a horror short, or I want to produce a horror short, or I wrote a horror short and I don't know how to go from the page to the screen. And so I was like, I'm certainly no expert, but I've worked in the entertainment industry and I've completed a short film. I'm working on another one. So I have a little bit of experience and I just want to share that with you. So let's talk about how to produce a short film, specifically on a budget. Before we get into that, here's a spooky reminder that you can make a one-time donation to buymeacoffee.com. It helps support the show. You can become a Patreon member and get exclusive and early access to your favorite horror hostess. Last but not least, I have a merch shop. Yeah, I know. It seems like everyone does these days, and here we are. So do I. It's on TeePublic, and you can find it at the link below. I'll probably put a little QR code here on the screen. Also, happy Pride! This is really exciting for me because I have Pride merch available right now, so take a look at that. All right, let's get into the video. For this video, I'm going to be referencing a couple of things. My completed short film, The Industry, a dramedy I wrote a number of years ago and finally filmed last year. It's available on YouTube. You can watch it if you want. And it's based on true events, so that happened to me. I'm also going to be talking about my upcoming horror short, Through the Trees. I'm extremely excited for this. We filmed part 1 a couple weeks ago, and now we'll be filming part 2 in a couple weeks. So, yeah. It's so cool. Now, of course, the very first thing you need in order to produce a short film is a script. There are so many books. There are a plethora of books on how to write a ... How to write a script, how to write a book, how to write a TV show. I will link to some of the ones that I've read and I know down in the show notes below. But to give you the Reader's Digest version, here's my quick intro on how to write a good script. So in order to write a good script, you need a good plot. And in order to write a good plot, the stakes have to be high for the characters. I'm going to repeat myself. In order to write a good plot, the stakes have to be high for the characters. So what does that mean? Let's say you're writing a post-apocalyptic script about aliens have taken over the world and it centers around this mother-daughter duo just trying to survive. I mean, that's pretty high stakes, right? I mean, that's life or death. The mother and daughter have to find food and shelter and probably clean water. But if you're writing a teen Halloween movie where teens are your target audience, then the stakes could simply be creating the perfect costume for the Halloween costume contest. Not exactly life or death, but to a 13-year-old, very much so, right? So that's what I mean when I say the stakes have to be high for the characters. It's dependent on the genre, and it's dependent on your target audience, and it's dependent on the characters. So just make sure to think about your target audience. And then I would say to find a resolution, but when you're writing a short film, you don't necessarily need a resolution like that. The resolution will come in the feature, right? You don't want to give the ending away in your short. I mean, short films are typically proofs of concept. So it's really just a snapshot into those characters' lives, into the feature itself. So you don't necessarily need a like tied with a bow ending. As long as the plot, the stakes are high, it could be a cliffhanger. And if the stakes are high for the characters, the cliffhanger could be all you need. I ended The Industry on a cliffhanger, and I thought it was pretty good, if I do say so myself. When I wrote The Industry, many, many moons ago, I was a server at a restaurant, and I hoped that the restaurant where I worked would let me film there after hours. Unfortunately, they didn't go for it, and then the pandemic happened, so there was a bit of a hiatus there. So eventually, I had to get creative. I asked my friend, producer T. Justin Ross, what he would do, and he said, when you're filming on a budget, it's important to figure out what's available to you. And that has stuck in my mind since. Now, at this point in the process, I was working at a production company. So I was no longer at the restaurant. I was at a production company now, working in an office. And because of that, I decided to switch from having my characters work as servers in a restaurant, which would cost me potentially hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to rent a restaurant out. I instead decided to have my characters become caterers at an office party. A lot of the actions are the same. You're carrying a tray full of food for certain people, but instead of referring to table numbers, you're referring to a group of people by the window, you know? I worked with what I got. And it helped me a lot. Like, I simply asked my boss and then asked her boss if I could film at our production company office for a weekend, I think. And they said, of course you can. That was such an amazing experience for me, and I will always be extremely grateful for that. And I felt like it turned out even better than if I had shot at a restaurant. Because I feel like filming at one specific restaurant, it could have been limiting, but this, I don't know, it opened up everything for me. Now with my horror short, Through the Trees, that actually started as like an exercise almost for me, because I had just left my friend, T. Justin Ross, and he had this, question in my head of like, what's available to me? All right, well, for my next short film, what's available to me? Well, I live in Los Angeles, and because of that, surrounded by hiking trails. So I thought maybe I could film something on a hiking trail. And honestly, knowing that and having that like limitation of a single location, that sparked an entire script for me. It sparked an entire idea. It gave me so much inspiration. Like, it's very interesting for me personally. My creative process truly comes when I have some kind of limitation. If the world is my oyster, then I get like overwhelmed with maybe too many ideas. So having that limitation of like a single location, the hiking trail, like, really inspired me. So I hope this does that for you too. Another question was, who is available to me? Well, I certainly don't have the money to pay cast and crew, and thankfully I had just filmed The Industry, so I already had a director, a sound op, a DP, Mike Monaghan, and the most amazing co-star any girl could ever ask for, Liz Sorkin, who was on an episode of The Rehearsal. Look for it. Little plug from a girl there. Yeah, but I will get more into that in a little bit. So put a pin in that. Now you might be wondering, Chelsea, that's great and all, but how does this pertain to me? That's an excellent question. Let's get into that. Well, let's say you have a script already. Perfect. It's between 5 and 15 pages, which is a short film's like sweet spot. Typically, the general rule of thumb is a minute of film time per page. So that should be between 5 and 15 pages, or excuse me. So that should be between 5 and 15 minutes. But of course, that depends on the context and what's on the page. But 15 minutes is typically best, especially if you're sending to film festivals. So just keep that in mind. Now, obviously, we talked about location. Location, I feel location is like the hardest thing to figure out and potentially the most expensive. If your script takes place in more than 3 locations, I would highly recommend you narrow it down to 3, maybe even 2, maybe even 1. And I know what you're thinking. Chelsea, I can't narrow it down to 1 location. Like, this script has 18 locations. There's a bridge, there's an office, there's a skyscraper, there's a lake. But if you happen to have a part of your script take place in a living room, why not make the whole short take place in the living room? I mean, if that's what you have available to you, if you live in a place where you can film in your living room, that might be your best option. And keep in mind, every script is different, every person is different. So this may not apply to you, but I urge you to really think about where you can film for free without, infringing on the law. Do your best in that department. But I'm truly serious. Like, if you have a part of your script that takes place in the living room, you could make the whole short take place in the living room. If the stakes are high, the action will be there. Different locations might be more interesting, but if you don't have access to a corporate office or a skyscraper, work with what you got. It really worked out for me. I'm not saying it's going to work out for you, but I have faith in you. That limitation of a single location, actually for the industry, we filmed in 2 locations, the office and my apartment. So if you have a workplace where you can film, take advantage of that. Simply ask the manager, like, hey, is it okay if I film here after hours for X amount of time? The worst thing that can happen is they say no, and then you have to figure something else out, unless you have a rich uncle that is like willing to finance this thing for you. Could be your only option, but like, if you're a creative like me, you can think outside the box. I have all the faith in the world in you, truly. But also keep in mind, I am not telling you to get rid of your script with the 18 different locations. Keep that. That's only 1 iteration of this script. Like, scripts go through so many different versions, and like, one day you might meet a director or a producer who's willing to finance that script with multiple locations, and then you'll be glad that you have that. So don't lose hope on that. That's truly not my intention here. I'm simply saying what worked for me. Okay, I've talked a lot about location. What about cast and crew? Do you have a group of friends with some time on their hands? There's your cast and crew. Hopefully you have some creative friends who are willing to do something like that with you. If not, I found my director through, I'm pretty sure, a Facebook group or some kind of like female creative group. But there are so many Facebook groups out there. There's a Facebook group for literally everyone. Like, you just have to look. You can find some Facebook groups of people near you, creative people, and just post like, hey, I have this short film. There's no money in this, but you'll get your name in the credits and I'll buy you lunch, or I'll bring lunch. Or I'll bring snacks and water, or like whatever you have to bring to the table. And so many people are willing to work just for the experience, especially like younger people or students. So just know those people are out there. They want to work on fun, creative, ridiculous, exciting projects with you. And hopefully they're willing to do it for nothing at all. Or like, a bag of Lay's and some Sprite. I wouldn't expect like professional level quality, but you never know. Like some students, some younger people out there are exceptionally talented with just an iPhone, which brings me to my next thing. If you don't have a camera or audio equipment, use your phone. I swear to you, if you have an iPhone, I don't have an Android, so I can't speak to that. But I have an iPhone. I started Horror Babe Show by filming on my iPhone. So do not worry about that. Do not worry about the quality. Like, iPhones film decent quality. And just because it doesn't look like Avatar doesn't mean it isn't good. Like, again, bringing it back to the beginning, if you have a good script with a good plot and like these vivid characters, then the quality of the film doesn't even really matter. But also, like, I know that there are stores out there that sell like older cameras or used cameras or, anything like that. I mean, there's eBay, like if you want to spend a little money on that. But truly, if you have a camera on your phone, don't worry about it. Oh, but also sound. There are lav mics, the little mics that like attach to your clothes. They have those available online for like $20. Mike and I have used those before. There's also, oh no, I ruined it. There we go. There's also stuff like this, just like a tiny little mic for cheap. If you end up spending like $20 on some lav mics, and $20 is all you spend on this, oh my God, chef's kiss, you've done it. Like, production companies all around the world will be giving you the proper accolades for only spending $20 on a short film. Truly, do not worry about it. One last thing on this subject, GarageBand. GarageBand is free and comes with Apple desktops and laptops. Major films have used GarageBand and music as well. Really, what I'm getting to is that's the truly incredible thing about these present times. You have so much available to you that wasn't available 20, even like 10 years ago. Like, take advantage of it. You can edit in YouTube now. I reiterate this with intention. Truly take advantage of what's available to you. That's honestly the best advice I could give. If you would like to go more in depth on this topic, I'm happy to go deeper. This was more of an overview. It was really hard for me to narrow down exactly what I wanted to talk about in this video because I didn't want it to be like an hour long. And I'm still learning so much. Please let me know if you want to know more. Comment below with any questions you have on this topic or any suggestions for videos on this topic in the future. I truly appreciate your feedback and suggestions. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again for watching. You can catch the industry at the link in the show notes below. I'll put a QR code on the screen as well, so you can go ahead and watch that now just for context. And I will definitely keep you guys updated on Through the Trees. It will take time to film the second part and edit and all of that, but I'll make sure to keep you guys updated on that. Well, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd to see what I'm watching and what I'm rating. Bye, babe.